severe depression, what we call depression, to the point to where they need clinical help, let's get them to a doctor. Get them to a physician. Let them look at them. Let them examine them. Let them see what's going on. Maybe they need some sort of medicine. Maybe they need something to help them break out of this. But we had a couple of situations where we had students that would just get very severely depressed, and we had to essentially help them through the depression. A lot of it was talking through what they were going through. A lot of it was just, and sometimes we actually had to help them out with that. So depression is something that you may find yourself involved in, or you may find yourself needing to help us get them through.
Then you have anxiety, panic attacks, and I'm going to just couple that with eating disorders because we're almost out of time here. Mainly it's girls that go through all that instead of guys. But even guys will have anxiety with testing. That's not abnormal. Just show them compassion. Talk to them. If they go into a panic attack, tell them to breathe slow and deeply and have them concentrate on something specific. Break it down for them. I had one student last year, he came in and he's like, I give up. And I said, what do you give up for? He goes, I can't do this. I've got 3 tests today, I've got a project due on Friday, and I've got to do your presentation on Thursday. I said, well, why are you looking at the big picture? Take it one day at a time. I can do that? Yeah. And if you need time, you've got to work on that presentation for Friday, I'll give you extra time. I'll put you at the bottom of the list to present for my class. You present next week. You'll let me do that? We've got to show compassion. I gave you the time limit. I said, you've got till this day. And he got up there and he did one of the best presentations. But he had a break. He was stressing out. And he needed that help. He was almost in panic zone that morning. Eating disorders. Several years ago, I had a homestay call me and say, can you talk to my homestay student? We got problems. She won't eat. She chews up her food. She spits it out. This is probably 11 years ago. Sure. So the girl came in and I said, what's going on? How can I help you? She said, I'm too fat. I said, where are your big toe? This girl was skinny. But this is what they see. They get on WeChat. They get on Viber. They get on QQ. Their parents see a distorted image of them. And this is what they're asked. You're eating too much American food. Why are you gaining weight? So they think they have to go on a diet. They think they have to exercise themselves to death to stay skinny. So I told her, I said, listen, I said, do you know what I look like on WeChat? My face is huge. I said, they're seeing the distorted vision of who you are. I said, you need to start eating healthy. And we put on a healthy eating plan. She went to the care spot, had a doctor that was helping her also, a nutritionist. And she gained a little bit of weight back. But she never went into that eating disorder that could go into death. The school worked with her, the teachers worked with her, the lady of the program at the time was working with her. We kept her accountable for what she was doing, what she was eating. We kept her accountable for how she was doing her exercises. Sometimes it gets tough being a homestay parent. But after doing it for 13 years, going into our 14th year, it's well worth it. All right. Okay, Cindy asked me to give you some observations from my trip to China this past year. So, I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but the 2 pictures on each corner, that is where our students from China live. That's a normal house for them. Now this picture, I am actually on the 12th floor looking down. They go from that to a house like that. It's overwhelming for them. They go from no space to all of this space. the meals. Now, that corner and this corner, this is roast with potatoes and carrots, a normal American Sunday dinner. And up here it's hamburgers with french fries and a salad. And that's what we put on our tables for our family to eat. And our family eats and they're full and they love it. Life goes on. But when I was in China, well, that's me up there in the far corner. I'm glad they've got a light over my face. These two tables, this was just, one was lunch and one was supper. When they go to eat, they have all of these big bowls of food on their tables. And it's a turnaround table. They literally can take the table, they can move it, and the table just turns. And what they do is they get what they want to eat, and they eat it. But every bowl is full. So there's food left over after every meal. That's what they're used to. Now, what do they do with that food after they eat it? Most of them throw it away. In the 15 days we were there, only one time did the people we were with say, hey, let's take these home and have them for supper tonight. Our international students are not used to eating leftovers. And like Cindy said earlier, out of respect, they're going to leave food in the bottom of that bowl. Our bathroom sinks. When we first did this program, my biggest issue was, why is there water on my sink all the time? So I asked him, I said, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm washing my face. I said, you can't do that in America. You're cleaning my bathroom for me without needing to. So what I did was, this is a sink from China. It is a huge bowl. To where when they do this, the water automatically goes back into the sink. I actually tried it. And it worked wonderful. It stayed in the sink. But that's a little American bathroom sink. See the difference? It's going to get on the counter. So what I've done with mine is I've put towels on the counter so that when they wash their face, they can just take the towel and wash off the counter. And we have no more conflict. And then here's the schools. I've got two pictures of schools. This is the classroom. This is the outside of the school that we got to go to. And this is where we are in the school, and they are actually doing exercises on their, what I would consider football field, because that's how big it was. But that's what they do for their PE time. They went outside, and they're all exercising in unison. Here we are. Cindy and I are here at the school. That's part of the school there. 5 floors, 3 floors, and here's our school. We are one building apiece. So here our students come from these huge schools where they've got 5 flights of stairs because there's no elevators. There's no escalators. And let me tell you something, by the time you get that 5th floor, you are exhausted. I tried it. Out of shape. So they come here and they're in one building. So they think they've got this extra time between classes because they're only in one building. But what they're not looking at is the fact that the time difference between their classes and our classes are different. We have 5 minutes. They had about 15 minutes. But to them, time is of no concept. And then shopping. Let me tell you, our international students love to shop. We had one student who paid $600 for a pair of shoes several years ago. And I went, what I could do with $600? But for her, it was nothing. It was nothing. So what I've done is I've put a picture of 3 of our malls. This is Town Center, Avenues, and Orange Park. Now, it depends on which culture, which country. I know when I had my Koreans, they all wanted to go to the Avenues Mall. My Chinese students, they always want to go to Orange Park or the Town Center. Now, something that I have learned recently about the Town Center, which really scares me, and I'm going to change my policy with my student going to the Town Center, never leave them there by themselves. My daughter works for the government, and what she was told last week terrified me. The Town Center is the #1 spot where females are picked up for sex trafficking. That surprised me. So be careful with that. But this right here is one mall. 5 floors up, so they've got 5 floors, twice the size of Avenue Mall. I felt like I had walked miles, and we were only on 1 floor. And they've actually got some interest. They've got a panda bear that looks like it's climbing up the side of the building, which in reality, there was a panda bear that climbed up in Chengdu one time. But this is the top of that mall. And when you stand there, your waist is about right here. It's pretty cool. That's what our students are used to. Very high class, very high tech, very high-end stores. They're not used to Walmart or even Target. They're name brand, Louis Vuitton. They want Apple. They want, what's the name of it? The Swarovskis?
Yeah, Swarovski.
Yeah, Swarovskis. That's how they shop.
And Burberry. Yeah.
We took a family several years ago to the Outlet Mall in St. John's Town Center. Cindy's laughing already. And we went on Black Friday. We stayed in the Coach store for 2 hours. The father found a chair and sat down. He goes, I'm right here. By the time we walked out of that store, they had spent over $5,000. They bought everything that they could possibly think of that they could take home to give to family, because the stuff here is a lot cheaper than it is there. That's why 2 days before your kids get back on the plane, like to go home for Christmas or go home for the summer, they're frantic because they've got to get to the mall. Their parents and their friends and their aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents have sent them a list of things they have to buy to take back home. And if they do not take them back home, their parents get very upset with them. And their ultimate goal in coming to this country is respecting their parents and living out their parents' expectations. Thank you.
Thanks for letting us share, y'all.